Okay, let's continue on. Let's get into some additional details about the DCMTK DICOM toolkit and about its commands. So if we come back here to our DCMTK folder, dig in here. I don't know why, so it puts it like one folder too deep. So on the zip. So I'm going to actually move these up one to one folder. Get rid of this. Okay. So let's come back to the man directory that houses all of the details and descriptions of each command. And let's go back to the example that we looked at earlier with the Echoscu. Open it with Notepad++. Okay, so again, so we have our name, Echoscu, and then we also have the DICOM, so it gives a description, DICOM verification, SCU, Echoscu. Synopsis, description, gives a description. And the thing that I like to point out is that the difference between, so the Echoscu application implements a service class user SCU for the verification SOP class. And, it sends a DICOM C-echo message to a service class provider and waits for a response. So SCU and the SCP. So SCU, service class provider, is pretty much the initiator in a DICOM association request or attempt. It's the SCU is the initiator. The SCP is the receiver. So the SCU is the sender. SCP is the receiver. And so with the Echoscu, it gives a description of what it does here. So it sends a DICOM C-echo message. Which is part of the DICOM. That's actually part of the DICOM standard. The C-echo is part of the DICOM standard. And message to the service class provider and waits for a response. The application can be used to verify basic DICOM connectivity. So what this does is just verifies that that there's DICOM connectivity with a certain device, and typically the Echoscu is used when you're first setting up maybe a new DICOM. Say for instance, you already have a PAX in place, you have a PAX system in place, and a new modality has just been installed. A new CT modality has just been installed at a site, at a hospital. So typically, what you're going to do is on the PAX, you're going to enter the AE title, the IP address, and the port of that modality into the PAX system. Pardon me. And then on the modality side, you're going to enter the AE title, IP, and port number of the PAX system. So that, and then at that point, once both devices know about each other, then typically the PAX will do a DICOM verify, which is what this is. A DICOM verification C-echo. It's basically what it is. So you're going to do a C-echo, a DICOM verify to the modality, and vice versa. The modality will want to verify, DICOM verify the PAX. So this is for Echoscu, and when you're running this command, you have different options. So the parameters for implementing this command is parameters is peer, the host name, peer, the host name of the DICOM server that you're trying to connect to, and the port number, So the TCP/IP port number of the peer. So let's, and then we also have different options that we can also do. Options as far as, and we're going to go through these in detail. Some of these in detail. Some of these are not really, we don't really have to worry about. But some of the ones that we will go over is will be maybe debug. It's a good one, and then log level. It's basically the two commands that we're going to probably work with. Also, where did I miss the some of the general options? General options here. I'm sorry, under here we have, you can also specify the AE title. This is the calling, what you're going to use as your calling AE title. The default is the Echoscu, and then you can also specify the called AE title, what you're actually trying to call and verify. The default is any SCP. So let's go through an example here, just with Echoscu. So we already know that we have our authentic DICOM server up and running, right? So let's see here, Authentic Explorer, we got it here. And remember, and then if we could remember, this is how we access. If we wanted to access the administration. And so we have the, this is where the administration, the authentic administration is, but we don't need this though. We'll just close out of that. Actually, where we want to go back to, let's just verify what our, let's just verify what the AE and the port number is for our authentic DICOM server. So let's go to program files, authentic server, configuration. If we remember, let's see, was it in authentic? Yes, had to make sure I recall where it was at, located at. So we're going to verify. So if we recall, this is the configuration for your authentic server, DICOM server. If we verify that the AE title is authentic, all caps, port number is 4242. So that's what we're going to use here. So let's go through an example, just the way it is. What we want to do is we want to verify DICOM connectivity. So, and this is going to be useful for you when you get into a, so when you are interviewing for a position, when you're interviewing for a position, or when you're you already have the job in the healthcare IT job as a PACS administrator or PACS analyst. You're going to want to, you can let them know that, hey, I've performed training to where I know how to do a DICOM verify. I already know how to, send images. I've already implemented parts of the DICOM standard. So this is going to be very good, useful information to be able to put on a resume and show that you have experience, at least in a training setting, that you've done this before and you have worked, and you can go through this, over, multiple times, different, just to make sure that you have everything down packed. And this will definitely put you over the curve. So this is why this is important. These pieces here, these training videos, on the actual implementation, the actual application, because it'll definitely put you ahead of the curve. And these are and again, these are some of the good common standard everyday useful parts of the DICOM standard that are used every day in a hospital setting, in a healthcare IT setting. So these will be used every day. So this is why these items are important to know, and it'll be great for you. So what we're gonna do. Enough of my soapbox and my speeching here. Let's open up a command prompt. We're gonna right click and copy. Let's come back to change directory. And so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do echo SCU. So we're gonna do DICOM verify. Utilize from the SCU is going to be the echo SCU command, because so right now we're going to we're imitating that we are a DICOM device, and we're going to do a DICOM verify to the authentic server, the DICOM server. And let's just take a look at our commands, our arguments, which is here. I'm going to just open up a second command window here. What I like to do this is how I like to work. So I like to take a look at, I like to have one window just kind of open, so I can look at the commands, another one so I can actually implement them. So what we need is the arguments parameters are host name. So the host name in our case here is the authentic server is actually listening on localhost, right? So localhost is the host name. And the port number is what, 4242? And that's all that's required. So let's go ahead and run that. So we ran that and we didn't get anything back. And typically when you don't get any, well, that's not necessarily the case. So everything ran, but we need to verify that we don't know if our request was, if our DICOM connectivity was successful or not. So here's where we're going to use a general option. We're going to hit the up arrow to get this command back in the window. And then we want to do log level. So we want to do dash log level info. And you'll see here the log level has the different, so log dash LL is the parameter, and then the level string, you can do the different string options you have here are in parentheses. So we just want to do information. Hit enter, and so here we go. So what we have here is we have basic information. We have requesting association, association accepted, sending echo request, received association response, releasing association. Received echo response successful, and releasing association. So what we can see here from our basic info, from our log here, is that so we have first the first piece, which is the association establishment. So we see the Echo SCU that we did from us. We are requesting an association. We received back their response. Association was accepted from the Organic server. So now we're going to send, so now we have our association is established. So remember that in the beginning, that's what we need first in the beginning. We have to have an association established. Next, so now we're going to send, now that we have the association established, we're going to send a verification at C-Echo, which is the DICOM, which is part of the DICOM standard. It's the actual implementation, the C-Echo. We want to send a C-Echo request to see if you're listening and see if you're listening. So we sent that C-Echo request, and then we received the C-Echo response, success. Now we're releasing the association. So now we know that we verified DICOM association. Now let's, in addition, what we can do is another log level. Let's see here. We can also do pinch debug. Let's see what we get for debug. I don't want to use that. I'm going to use debug. So let's run. Let's see. Let's get, because I want to show you some addition. I want to get some additional details. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to do same command, but instead of info, we're going to do debug. I want to write these contents to a file, because when I do debug, the contents are going to be kind of long. It's going to be a lot of contents on the screen, and I don't want it on the screen. I want to write them to a file. We don't need that right now, I don't think. Maybe let's get rid of that. Let's just do new. I'll just put it right in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write these content. I want to write the output to a file. So we're going to call it dicom.log. Let's take a look. Training, did I not do something right here? Yes, I did not. See. Didn't write it to a file. I believe I need to put this in quotes. Maybe the whole thing, maybe the whole string needs to be in quotes, actually. So this is live work here we're doing. So let's try that again. All right, there we go. So the entire command needed to be placed in quotes. So it wrote the output to this DICOM log file that we specified. Open it up with Notepad++. So here's the details. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what we have here. What good information we have here. So we have the begin association request. We can see that, right? We have the calling application name. We call that it's going to use the calling AE title, which is the default. We didn't specify one, so the default is going to be Echo SCU, which is what it is. And then the calling is, we didn't specify calling, so we put that any SEP as the called AE title. So, and then we have some other items here. We'll come back over. So let me see here. So for the association request. All right. In the association request, requesting association. Association parameters negotiated. And then we can see here that, so it goes through the association request response. And at the end, you can see that it received the echo response. And then here so here is the association requested, accepted, sending echo request, received echo response success, releasing association. So let's look at some additional details. What we have here. What else we have here is in an association we have the we also have the proposed transfer syntax, and we'll recall that the little endian explicit, I believe, is the default transfer syntax. You know, and again, transfer syntax relates to the encoding, how the actual images will be sent. You know, how they actually will be transferred. So. That's getting that established during the association. And also just some other information that's not really, and then that's pretty much it. So that's the proposed transfer syntax, little endian explicit. And then we come down here to accepted transfer syntax. So the accepted transfer syntax was little endian explicit. So it accepted, of course, that transfer syntax. So let's go look at another example for DICOM SEU. So you'll notice that so the organic DICOM server that we have set up, it does not require us it does not require the AE title. Let's see here. You'll notice so that's the AE title, but we didn't have to specify. You know, if you'll recall that typically you need 3 pieces of identifying information to do. You know, the AE title, the IP, the port number. So, but how the organic server comes installed by default. It says check whether the call AE title responds to the AE title or organic during incoming SEU request. So we had that set to false. So we can change that, right? So let's just run the same command. If we change that to true, we save that. Okay, so we need to open this in administrator mode. Set that to true. So now, this is what this says is that it needs the AE title has to be specified when you're trying to do doing a DICOM SEU request to the server. So let's test that out now. So we run the same command again. Open up the file. It'll rewrite the contents, what was in there. And let's see what happened. Oh, so it looks like it still accepted the association. Accepted, success. All right, I'm trying to get it to fail. All right, so let's see. So if we run that same command, this time let's specify the AE title. Let's specify the called AE title dash AET should be called AEC. So we're gonna do AEC. Make this window bigger. All right, so AEC is going to be, let's just say we're going to do a fake A. Or let's just do the real AE title. All right. Let's take a look at our log. So we'll see that the called now is organic AE title, what we specified. Success. Now let's do, if we try to specify something else, AE title. Let's just do no caps. Interesting. Why is it still saying association accepted? All right, let's do this. I'm trying to get it to fail, so bear with me for one moment, guys. If we do this live, change this to live troubleshooting, and I just realized what the problem was. Okay, guys, forgive me for hey, you know, this is live in action, but I realized what the problem was. I thought that changing this specifies that we needed to do the AE title. This, and it's true. Once you change this to true, the AE title needs to be specified. But what I forgot, what needs to happen is the DICOM service needs to be restarted. So I forgot about that. We got to open up services. Open up services. We can stop it. Restart it. So now that that's been restarted, let's go back and do, which one do we want to do? Yeah, let's just do this. Well, first, let's just clear the screen. There's too much going on here. All right, so now, if we do a title, success. Now, if we do change the AE title, still success. There we go. Okay. Whew, I didn't, it's trying to prove me wrong. So it looks like okay, there we go. So permanent rejection, call A title not recognized. So it looks like that for this organic server, it's not case sensitive. So you can put in lowercase. But so like if we go back to organic S, okay, so it's not case sensitive. Normally a title has to be case sensitive. I guess it doesn't have to be here in this for the organic server. So you'll see now that because now we specified that we're requiring the AE title to be specified. So if we go back to our original, one of our original commands that we did here, where we did not specify the AE, this should fail. Right. So it took a while for us to get all the way around, but we'll see that here is that and so we'll see here that because now we didn't specify, we used the default AE title as the called what we're calling the called. It rejected it because it didn't recognize the AE title. So let's go to let's do our debug. Let's go to file. Say for instance we want to call it my AET, or change this to debug. Now, if we go to the DICOM, and we'll see that the calling, what we're using the call with is Echoscu. That's the default still, and the called my AET and requesting association. Rejected permanent source service user. Call A title not recognized. So in this case, we have to specify the calling AE. Let's give ourselves a different AE title that we're actually calling from. So let's do this. Let's do -AET. We're going to use we're going to set the calling AE title, and we're going to use, let's just go back to what it's supposed to be. So we're going to use modality 1 is what we're going to use as our calling AE title, and we're calling the AE title for the authentic. So let's go to the file. And you'll see now our calling AE is modality 1. We're calling authentic. And we have association success. So that's pretty much the basics of some details of the Echo SCU, how it works, how it relates to how you can use it to verify the DICOM connection. We also went over how we can, within the Echo SCU, you specify the parameters of the host name and the port number. But then in addition, we could change parameters around. We can use a calling AE title. We can, and then we saw, we can specify a called AE title, and then we saw within the authentic configuration file how we specified how we can change this setting to true to require an AE title to be specified when doing an incoming DICOM SCU request. We make changes like this. We had to, forgot that I had to restart the authentic DICOM service. And so, and then after that, and we saw how we can put these logs to file, and we can check the contents. We can do details. We can just do info. So this is all good, useful information, and it's also good for troubleshooting. Definitely, we can actually come in here. We can actually, for the configuration of the server, we can actually change other settings as far as the port. If we wanted to use a different port, we can do that. There's a lot of different settings that we can come in here and change. So, but that's just the basic. And again, this Echo SCU is very good for troubleshooting. It'll be useful for you as you're starting out on your journey to becoming well versed in healthcare IT. So I hope that this overview of this little detailed overview of Echo SCU has been helpful. And I think that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much.